Untuk. Alright. Project chapter 4, project schedule management. This is another important. Saya akan cover dulu. Toward the end of this project management ni kita akan ada assignment. So before assignment saya akan share few videos lah yang related to the project. Sebab kita nak pakai saya share pun saya boleh share dah kot asalnya. Nanti saya create ni lah, saya create Google. Panjang juga video dia tu ataupun saya buatlah Google lah rasanya better. Esok saya buatlah, esok saya share dengan you all how to use Microsoft project. Microsoft project. So, detail ke awak boleh tengok nanti ulang-ulang. And then saya tak sure lah sama ada this year license tu di renew semula ataupun tak. Last year license dia tu dah habis lah. Sorry, not last year, last semester. So mungkin semester ni dia open balik, maknanya student yang dah habis tu dia tak boleh pakai, kemudian dia return, dia mungkin ataupun setahun je license dia tu. So you all cuba pergi ke BSU BSU uitm.uitm lah, .u.my. So and then you request Microsoft project. Request untuk siapa yang tak ada Microsoft project lah. Tapi kalau nak beli yang nak beli pun tak apalah. Mahal lah sikit kan kalau nak beli kan. Cuma kalau nak ambil yang free UiTM punya, kita ada dekat dalam sistem BSU UiTM tu. Awak boleh tempah kat situ. Kalau ada lagi dia punya license, dia bagilah. Kalau license tu dah habis, semua dah diambil oleh pelajar. Dia sebab dia ada license dia open lah. So bila pelajar ni kalau you all habis belajar, automatically license tu dah tak function lah. Tak boleh pakai dah. During student, you masih lagi keadaan student, you can use that. After you dah ni tak boleh. Kalau macam saya boleh pakai sampai bila-bila lah. Sebab dia tahu lecturer, kita minta kan, dia bagi yang tu. Alright. So boleh try, apply and then you download daripada BSU tu. Dia give you instruction lah. Tapi you kena apply you need to use the student email lah if you want to apply. Guna student email. Kalau tak pakai student email, tak boleh lah, awak tak boleh nak apply. You cannot apply if you not use the student account. You must use the student account, student email. Alright, so we proceed to the chapter 4, the project schedule management. The project schedule management, the things that we're going to cover is introductions to the project schedule, it is normal. And then plan schedule management, define activity process, and sequence activity process. Okay. After that, we have estimate activity duration process, develop the schedule process, and the control schedule. That's why if you understand all this schedule process, then if you want to translate this into the Microsoft project, it's much more easier lah. Unless you already experience using the Microsoft project. That's a different issue lah. Alright, so we start with introduction to the project schedule management. So what is a project schedule? What is a project schedule? All the process required to manage the timely completions of the project. Dekat sini kita ada, dia panggil the timely complete. Ini yang completion. Maknanya this means that we have time and then we have task. We have time and then we have task. So two things. We want to control the task and then we have the time to complete. So how long it goes and then how we arrange this task. Either this task start after this or this task can start before this task complete. So this is what we call the schedule. We schedule the projects. Certain project, the schedule mungkin might be not what they call it, they're not connected with another activity, so maybe they can stand alone activity. But the final one, you need to combine all these tasks and then all these tasks finish, then consider the project also finish. So that is what happened in the project schedule lah. So what we cover in the project schedule management. So we only have a planning and a monitor. In the schedule, we have a planning and monitor. We not cover. We don't have executions and all that. We just because the project schedule actually the part of execution process. Execution process on the project management, but this is the planning part. Alright. Kalau kita tengok sini, kita ada plan schedule management. Dia defines activities, sequence activities, estimate activities durations, develop the schedule, and we control the schedule. Alright. Okay, the concept of the project schedule management ni, one is a schedule model. What kind of module that we want to use, and then what is information on the project, method, scheduling method that we going to use, and then scheduling tool. Method and tools ni dua benda ni lah, methods and tool ni. Ni schedule tools dengan schedule method ni selalunya dia duduk dalam one software lah. So dalam case ni, in our case, we use the Microsoft project. We have Primavera lah. Ni sophisticated, and then the currently is sitting what type of what is the name of the software, but I know that this is integrated with the BIM, and then the 3D planning software, where somewhere construction they use the 3D ni. I can't remember the name of the software, but the scheduling process refer to the 3D punya information, so you can see the changes of the I call it the progress, so the achievement or the progress in 3D kalau tengok software. Okay, the trend imagine practice and iterative schedule with a backlog, rolling wave planning based on adaptive life cycles, and then used to deliver incremental values. When multiple teams are delivering concurrently, welcome change throughout. This is iterative schedule with a backlog. On-demand scheduling, it is based on the Kanban system, theory of constraint and pull scheduling. What is constraint? What is a need to pull? Pull work or backlog and intermediate queue. This is on-demand scheduling. Alright. Tailoring trains the train tailor to life cycle approach. What I mean by the life cycle approach? Because the process has a start and then goes certain time, they got a finish. That's why they call it the life cycle approach. So they must have a start and then they must have a finish. Kalau kita buat block diagram pun macam ni. So start, finish here. Nanti kita akan tengok start, finish, start, finish, start. So that is a resource availability. So dekat dalam project we define this resource. So project dimensions. This is the time. Dimensions, how long? Technical support, right? Include juga dalam resource availability ni. Include here in this resource availability, technical support. And then we have agile and adaptive considerations. Short work cycle, review result frequently, and then rapid feedbacks needed. That is trend. Alright, so we go to the first planning process, which is a plan schedule management. Right, we plan the schedule management. So what is a plan schedule management? The process of, dia kata, here they say that the process of establishing the policies, procedure and documentation for planning, developing, managing, executing and controlling the project schedule. Okay, that is the definitions of the project schedule management. Okay, what is input? The input for the project management process is project schedule management process is the project management plan. For sure, we have a project management plan, project charter. This is another important. And then these two, as a normal, we certain element under the enterprise implementation factor and organizational process asset will include in the plan schedule management process. So the project management plan, what we need is only the scope management plan. Because we know the scope and then we can start to plan. So influencing the approach to be taken to plan the scope. Right? That is how important this. And then development approach. Define the scheduling approach, estimate the technique. If you know the development approach, either, for example, if you want to develop the buildings, you say that development approach, you will use the 90% component of the development come from IBS. So means that what? All those wall, slab, what else? Column, all these come from factory because the IBS. So you know that you can reduce the time. Why? Because of during the we put the column, slab and wall can already prepare concurrently in the factory. But if you in situ project, you cannot use. You need to complete the column first. After that, you come up with a slab or wall. Normally, people go for the slab lah. If you do multi-story buildings, and you put the slab first. After column, slab, and then you put slab again. Why? Because of you can do some work here. Put the wall, for example, if you have a slab. If you put wall first, and then you want to put the slab here, one thing is a very dangerous lah. And then very risk because kalau dia collapse benda ni collapse and then kata apa, kalau kita buat ni wall yang kat tepi ni dia akan rosak jugalah. So kalau kita buat slab, you put the slab first, one thing we can predict how much the material they're going to use here, or maybe we can do some work about under the slab, even though we don't have a roof yet. The slab can cover and then function as a roof. Okay, so that is what you need to know. What is a development approach? How are we going to achieve, reach the what they call deliverables? Right? So this is how. And then we also need a project charter. Project charter is high level of requirements and the product description. What is the requirement for the project? What is the product description for the project? All details we put, all the general items, the must, the thing that we call it the must thing, must, and then it's not the nice to have, but must include under the regulations and all that, and then we put under the project charter. All right, enterprise environmental factor, the inputs that we need. We have organization culture. This is important. Resource availability, because we want to schedule, we need to know how many resources that we have. For example, if you want to complete one wall like this, put the bridge, kita buat macam ni, tekanlah contoh. So kita buat bata, kita ikat macam ni contohnya. So all that ni, sorry lah saya kalau dengan ni tak boleh nak buat cantik sangat. So tak kisahlah, you all understand lah, this is a bridge yang kita suit. So resource availability, katakan to complete one day we need to have at least 2 persons for one ward. So if you want to develop 4 ward, for example, and then one day you need 2 people for 1 ward. So 4 ward multiply, for example 4. Tapi not necessary multiply, this depend. Tak semua kerja je kita tambah orang seorang dia jadi double, no. Some of work we even though we put 5 pun tak bergerak juga, kan. Kita ambil contoh simple lah. Kalau apa nak buat kenduri kan, kenduri kahwin, we have a project of party kan, so you want to cook, you only have one how do you call it, saya pun tak, I don't know in English, in Malay they call it kawah lah, bigger pan tu, periuk yang besar tu. So bigger one, so only have one. So even you put 5 people here, it doesn't work because you only have one. So that is a resource availability. We want to know how. And then the project management, scheduling software. This is what I mentioned just now. Either we use MS Project, Primavera, ada software, Beam software, so, for example. So this is a project management software. Work authorized system, and then commercial database. So this is become our input. Today actually a bit tired because of I have meeting in the morning. After lunch I have class. After class tu quite tired tapi but I still need to complete few things which is my boss order for me to complete. So I come back at 6 tu dah. I'm very tired today. Alright, organizational process asset. We have a policy, template, and procedure, and then we have historical information and also the lessons learned. So enough the inputs that we need. We complete the inputs. So now, what is the tools that we want to use in the plan schedule? So we use expert judgment, data analysis, and the meeting. So the expert judgment will advise us on the schedule development, management, and the control. And then what is the methodologies that we're going to use? Either adaptive or predictive methods. Scheduling software. This is normally the expert judgment will advise you to use which type of software. In the project management, we need in the scheduling we need to use the software. If not, very tedious work, a lot of things. Kalau you want to use computer Excel, for example, that's why it's not preferable for the big project. You just use the Excel. You need to have a software, proper software. The cheapest one was Microsoft Project. If you effort to buy a Primavera, it's much expensive. And then a lot more software scheduling software, and then the industry in which it's operate. So the industry in which, if you talk about the construction, the expert judgment will advise you on the construction. If you want to make a product, it's a product, and then they will advise you on term of product. And then the product also, you can divide many things of the product. One is we call it the IT products, okay, a soft IT, and then we have like car also a product, consumer products, all right. And then the data analysis. Data analysis is combination of various methods. Method of this here, methods. What methods? Okay. Method of analysis. Either we use what do you call it, the PERT method. So we look what kind of method that on the data analysis that we're going to use. Okay, alternate analysis. We have alternate analysis as well. Right. And then we have a meeting and the meeting on the planning, so planning workshop. Meeting. So in the schedule, before we start the schedule, we put the planning workshop, discuss, brainstorm on how we're going to conduct the project. All right. So in the plan schedule management, the outputs that we get from this process will be a schedule management plan. So the schedule management plan describes the process that will lead to agreed schedule baseline. Includes so what we have, project schedule model development. Project schedule model development, where here the methodologies and the tool used. We want to know what is the method they're going to use, and then what is the tools they're going to use. Method of schedule, then the tools of tool for the schedule. Okay, release and iterations length. Okay, in iterative life cycle, define the time box period for release and iterations. Okay. Level of accuracy, acceptable range to the determine realistic activity durations. Acceptable range to determine realistic activity durations. The level of accuracy. What is the accuracy level? Later we will study. We will discuss on the what is the range and then how we determine the range for the this schedule. So we got the level of accuracy during the plan. So what kind of accuracy kita nak pakai? So kita ada a lot of accuracies method. Okay, unique measures. Okay, unique measures we need to define times or money. That is what the unique measure. Okay, and then we also have organizational procedure links and then project schedule maintenance, a control threshold, the agreed upon amount of the variance. So we have a variance. What is agreeable variance? 1%, minus 1%. So we have that in the schedule. Okay, let's say we say that okay, 0.1% delay are acceptable. So we translate that the 0.1% to the number of how do you say it? So the number of delay process lah, because ahead normally people will accept, no problem lah, but the delay lah, the times of delay. Okay, rules of performance measurement, earned value management, for example, schedule variance, right? So and then reporting format and the frequency. Okay. In the schedule management also they have important element, schedule model, methodologies and tool that used to develop the schedule, as I mentioned many times, Primaveras and the Microsoft project. To maintain the schedule models linked to the work breakdown structure. We have the work breakdown structure, we have the schedule, we need to tell you. Okay, iterations and definitions, they are time bound, and the schedule management plan should document the expected length of iterations. So tempoh masa tu banyak, the time, the period of time is something that you need to consider. Okay, accuracy levels, as mentioned before, describe the roundings and when the activity durations estimates, and then unit measure, actually activity duration estimate as well as schedule activity. Describe what measure you use when they're developing the schedule, such as hours, week, day, weeks, and others measure lah. Okay, the control threshold, how to control the schedule, plan schedule. Level of variance that schedule can be experienced before you take an action. Okay. That is a threshold allowable variance. And then the performance measurement rules refer to where and what types of measure that used to verify the schedule performance, such as a schedule variance, schedule performance index, and other earned value management technique. So this is the plan management. Later we will discuss in detail what it means by the schedule variance, schedule performance index, and earns value management in the next coming subchapter. All right. Any questions so far? Ada soalan tak? Any question? Are you okay? Are you still follow me? Wasim, are you follow me?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. How are you in your country? Okay now? You in Qatar? Qatar or Iraq?
Yes, Doctor. No problem. No question. Thank you.
What no?
Wasim in Iraq.
Iraq eh? Right. Define activities. We can proceed to the define activities. If no question, so we proceed to the define activities. The definition for define activities is to identify the specific action to be performed to produce the deliverables. Okay. When we do the define activities process, so the inputs that we need to define the activities. One is a project management plan and also enterprise environmental factor, organizational process, etc. So the project management plan, the schedule management plan, that is the first input under the project management plan. Is a schedule management plan where we need to look into the schedule methodology, durations or wave for rolling wave planning, and then desired level of details in the schedule management plan. And then we have the next input under the project management plan was scope baseline. Schedule and scope are related. They have a strong relations for the scope and the schedule, because the scope will be the big input or the main input to the to define the activities in the schedule. The scope, and then the project scope statement, deliverables, what we're going to get, work breakdown structure and work breakdown structure dictionaries, and then constraint and also the assumption. So these four elements we need for the for input for this under the project management plan. So enterprise environmental factor, we need to get the organization structure and culture. So what is important of the organization structure and the culture? Actually, we're looking into the resource availability. Why? Culture, that is very important. So any project, for example, we run in Malaysia. You conduct the project in Malaysia. What is the culture for Malaysian people? We are celebrate the 4 big religious punya religious what they call it, 4 big religious event, bukan perayaan, what we call it, lupa orang, I forgot it. Event So for example, for Muslim we have Eid lah, Eid Idul Fitri or Idul Adha. So for the Chinese we have a Chinese New Year. For the India we have a Deepavali, which is, and then we also, some of them celebrate the Christmas, and so we have a lot for these three for the event. In the it's 25, for example, school holidays and all that, and then relate to the Christmas and all that, and then they will have a long holidays. What happened? So means that they kata during 4 years they need to predict that 4 times in the big ceremony events. So maybe people have to take a leave. Okay. You know, when I went to the I visit one company in China, company lah, buah company in China. So I talked to the manager of the factory. The manager is actually Englishman from US, I've not taken from US, but he married this from Thailand, and he decided to stay in Thailand. But he also have house in China because he owned the share in one of the biggest valve company in the world, Gaia, G-I-A, Gaia. So Gaia is very, very famous, and then a very big valve company. Even they can challenge or they can beat the company from Japan, and then they sell for worldwide. So this company, English company, they don't want to fight with Gaia, but they complement, they joins the Gaia with a share, and then he have one factory lah. Gaia allowed him to open the factory under the Gaia names, and then but he cannot buy the Gaia lah. He planned to buy Gaia, but they don't want to sell. But they give chance this this guy to develop the. So when I asked him, I said, "Oh, the workers here very disciplined. During the visits, you cannot see chit chat among them. No chit chat among them. What they do, they are sitting very close each other. They don't chat like talkative with a bar. So they just do their works. Not during our visit kita duduk situ dia buat kerja, no. Because saya keluar daripada area tu, I'm not sitting in this I saw that they are still working very hard. So I asked them what is the issue. The issue is the culture of the Chinese normally who works in this factory and all that. They come from the they come from the village, so the rural areas. So what happened during this Chinese New Year festival, during this Chinese festival, so in their place, even though they got a 1 week for them, they don't bother you week or 2 or 3 weeks. If I want to I want to stay home, I don't want to go back for 1 month, so what you can say? You cannot say anything. So they say that is a challenge lah, culture challenge. So if they want to do new products, or have a lot of demand, so they only have 11th month in the calendar. So the 1 month for sure because of this group of people. They go back home and then they enjoy money that they have get during workings in any factory, and then when they go back home, they enjoy this money because they have a lot of savings. All right, the commercial database, and also the project management information system, PMIS. So, and then we have and then the previous or existing activities. Okay, that is under the initial process asset. Okay. Now the two define activity process. Decomposition, subsidiary. Ideas work into the small activities. We look into the scope of work. This is similar to the scope of work. The schedules can be managed through the decomposition, because this is the part of defined activities. What is activities? We start in the early, we know that the activities. So decompose the activities into the small one and then manage for in order to easy to manage. That's why they call it to just work into a manageable activity. So let's for example, we do a wedding party, wedding party. So they for process, like they need to cook, they need to invite. So if one would do everything, maybe not manage. So now they manage to the small activity. Okay, this you just control this, and then divide into the small portion. So easy to manage. Concurrent creates the work breakdown dictionary. So if you do that, then we can create WBS or WBS, and then it's mentioned also each work package within the work breakdown structure and the output of as a activities. And then we have a rolling wave planning. What is rolling wave planning? Tools. One of the tools that we use is a rolling wave planning. So, planning techniques. That is and then progressive elaborations. Good forward package, planning package, and release plannings. Okay, depending on the project life cycle, work has varying level of detail. Kalau kita kat sini form of the progressive elaboration during the rolling and wave, we have depending on the project life, work has varying levels of the detail. Near-term planning is done in the detail. Future planning is a high level. Okay, kalau future high level, kalau near-term planning is done in the detail. So then we have expert judgment, expert experience, member feedback, and so we conduct meetings. One tools in order to define activities. The best thing, this one. We collect the data, we sit with expert people, and then we do meetings. Okay.
Sorry Doktor.
Alright. Yep.
Doktor, saya rasa saya punya screen ni freeze sebab line kot. Doktor page berapa sekarang? 33 lah?
33, yes.
Okay. Oh, baru masuk. Tadi dia freeze je saya tengok. Mungkin saya punya line slow kot. Sorry.
Line good.
Okay Doktor, dah masuk dah. Okay.
Right, okay. Others, okay. Of the class member, is it okay?
Sama, freeze.
No, is it okay? Fine.
Saya dengar suara doktor tapi gambar tu dia macam berhenti.
Presentation dia free. Video tu bergerak jugalah. Video doktor dengan suara tu jalan. Presentation dia macam slow sikit. Macam slide dia tiba-tiba skip 10 muka surat ke kadang. Macam tu, dia tak follow.
Oh. Now in slide 33, is it? The rest of class also seen in the slide 33?
Yes.
Ya.
All can see this, slide 33. Right. The outputs, the output for the design defined activity process. Our output is a activity list. Activity attribute, milestone, request and project management, plan update. So the activity list, we come up with a detailed schedule activities. So if you not see, you just mention, inform me, and I can stop a while, and then maybe my internet sign not so okay. This week, maybe the last week lah yang not okay tu. InsyaAllah next week okay lah kot because of my sons go back to a hostel. So end of this week. So
Yang sekarang pun, sorry doktor, yang sekarang pun macam tu lah, dia freeze je. So saya tak tahu kalau orang lain nampak yang pun sama, nampak freeze juga, maksudnya mungkin daripada doktor lah kot.
So how saya tutup dulu lah. I stop sharing. And then I stop sharing first. And then I share again. Now is it okay? Now you all can see slide number 35,
Sekarang okey.
Alright. You need to inform lah because I don't know whether you see on. I refer to my slide, so if I can see my slide move, so I consider everything is okay lah because I cannot see you all. From your face also I don't know, I cannot see. That's why I keep asking whether you okay or not. You just give me a feedback. Alright, activity list, the detail of schedules, activity. Detail of schedule activities in Agile, rolling wave planning, they call. In Agile or rolling wave, planning progress is updated regularly, detailed schedule activities. So we update the activities. And then scope of work for each activity must have an identifier, descriptions of in the description is a sufficient detail. Okay. Then this is activity list under the defined activity process. So activity attributes, we define the multiple components, activity ID, work breakdown structure ID, activity names and labels, predecessor and successor activities. Right. So resource responsible for activities and locations of the work performance. Right. That is a defined activity process. And then the milestone list, milestone dates. We have activity, we know that when is first milestone will complete. For example, activities is a piling. So you know the piling take 1 month. So after 1 month, piling complete. So piling complete means that the date of the completions for the first milestone. You get the achieve first milestone. And then mandatory milestone. What is a milestone? And then zero duration as it is an event. So the milestone is not the event. That's why they don't have a duration, but they have the date of completion or the date of the milestone achieved, delivered. That is a difference. Milestone and the schedule. So milestone is the you have a long schedule in order to achieve one milestone. So let's say piling complete. Piling complete. This is the time where you need to pile. So they have some more activity. For example, site clearance, soil testing. We get the soil reading, the testing. After that, you can start to pile. So the pilings process, kita kata the pilings complete. That is one milestone, right? And then they have a mandatory milestone. Some of the mandatory milestone. So we give date. This is the mandatory milestone. We can set what is a mandatory milestone. All right. So then we have a change request. Okay. That is the output that we have under the define activities. Okay. That is under the okay, activity attributes. Okay. So the milestone change request and then already. Okay, we have a project management plans update. So we have a schedule baseline. Here. Show works that was not part of the baseline data, and then any significant changes. And then the cost baseline. So incorporate approved changes to the schedule activity. All right. For the exam, the purpose of define activities process is to be decompose the works package into schedule activities, where the basis for estimating schedule, executing and monitoring and controlling the works of the project is easily supported and accomplished. Okay. All right. Any question? Nak tanya? We have defined the objective and then now we have a sequence activity. Ada soalan? You have a question to ask? No question?
No question, Doctor. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so now we go to the next process. We call it the sequence activities. Identify and documents relationship amongst the project activities. This is, we call it a sequence activities. So we want to know the sequence of the activities from A, B, C, D in order to complete with deliverables. Okay, this is what we call the sequence activities. In what order should the activities be arranged? This is what we question. How to determine the dependencies and the flow activities using the network diagram. And then when the durations are added, it can show you a total durations and the critical path. So we want to know the critical path. Actually, this is the important part here, the critical path. What is mean by the critical path? You need to control this line. Control this path. If you delay in this path, you will delay the deliverable. Okay, so how to control the critical path? This is what we're going to see into this. Okay, this is example of sequence activities, which is we start the activity, we start begin. After that, either we go to the A, and then we have D, we have F. So we know that if you complete the A, then you can start B and E. But this E, you can start when the D finish. See? E can start when A and D finish. So which one finish first, then they can stay lah because of the time. So, and then the C, in order to run the C, so we must complete B first and E first. This is the process, we call it the sequence. This is sequence, and then A and D is not the sequence. They are not related, but E and C, they have a relation. So they have relation in this point at the E. And then F, G, N. So this, if you look at this, okay, this they're not relate to this project, but if you need to complete the project, even though they follow this path, they need to complete E and complete C. If C and E not completed, this project also not completed. Alright, even though yang to F dengan G to complete first, but if the rest not complete, they don't consider. Okay, now kita look into here. So how to justify your time estimate for the project? We use a network diagram, helps effective planning, organizing and controlling, and then show the project progress if used for the schedule control. Okay. All right. So what is inputs in the sequence activities process? So we have 4 inputs. One is a project management plan and the project documents, enterprise environmental factor, and also the organizational process asset. So project management plan, the schedule management plan, and then we have a scope baseline. So in the scope baseline, we look into the project scope statement, deliverables, work breakdown structure, dictionaries and work breakdown structure, and constraint and assumptions. Right, that is an input. The second input will be a project document. So we want to see the activity attributes, activity list, detail of scope of work, and the assumption log. All right. Inputs. Okay. Okay, project documents, we have another one is a milestone list. And then in terms of enterprise environmental factor, we have organization structure and culture, commercial database, project management, information system. This is, we have three under the enterprise environmental factor as an input. And then for organizational process asset, we have the portfolio, programs and project dependence and relationship, templates, previous or existing activity list, and then the lessons learned. All right. Precedence diagram methods, tools that we use, and then dependency determinations and leads and lags, and also PMIS. Okay, look into this precedence diagram method, PDM, PDM precedence diagram method. I think panjang juga nak cerita. Tak apalah, kita habiskan di start. We complete this slide first. Constructing and scheduling models where the activities are represented by nodes. So what I mean by nodes? We draw the box. So this box, this one node, this is the complete this one, and then they go to the another node. This is what we call it the represent by nodes. Activities are represented by nodes. See, this is considered by node. All right, we have precedence diagram method. We have 4 types of method. One, we call it the finish start. Finish start is very easy. You complete the A and then you can start B. Clear, straightforward. The successor activities B cannot start before the predecessor activities A ended. You cannot cook a stew before gathering all the ingredients. All right. That is what explanation. This type commonly used. So we are normally use the finish start process. Okay, we use as finish start, and then we have a finish. So how finish? They say that the finish is the successor activity B cannot finish before the predecessor activity A has finished. So it means that the B finish first, the successor activities, this B cannot finish before the predecessor activity A has finished. So this project and this project you can run together. Somehow these are related to this, but from this graph, so related to this, but this activity B need to finish, even though the process of B finished already, but it still depends on the A. Okay, start to start. Start to start means that this start and then another one also start. The successor activity B cannot start before the predecessor activity A has started. So when A started, then B we can start. I always use this example. Start. Start means that let's say if you want to plaster, the process of plaster is the because this still long process lah. But if you put the bridge and then you plaster the wall, so you need to. That's why they say that the successor activity B cannot start before the predecessor activity has started. So you start to put the bridge and then you need to plaster. So the plaster process happen when we already put all those bricks, but we now can do almost concurrence because of the technologies and all that. So we start to we put the biggest, for example, bigger bricks, and then these are really easy to complete, and then we start to plaster all at the same time, same time lah. So we do that's it, we call it the start. Later we can see the diagrams, and then we have a start finish. The predecessor activity A cannot start until the successor activity B has finished. All right, I don't want to take more time. The start finish are seldom. Later we look. So after this you have quiz. So I think I would like to stop here. I will start again tomorrow with this slide in order to make sure you can understand all this. Okay, so any question? You have another 2 minutes to start your quiz. Any question?